Welcome. Today we're going to be talking about how to qualify your way to your goals. This is one of the most important things that you can do for your business is knowing and identifying who your best people are. That way when you are on appointments, you're positioning yourself to see your best people, which increases your average order, closing percentage, and sales for the week. So the three things we're going to talk about is what is qualifying, why we want to qualify, and how we want to get that done. It's a three-step process, and I think it's important that you understand your objectives. That way, how you go about doing it can be your own way with proper foundations and guidelines under that. So with the what about qualifying or what is qualifying, qualifying is positioning yourself to see better and more qualified people. And the way that we're going to hit our goals is by positioning ourselves to have a higher closing percentage, position ourselves to get 20, 30, 40 recommendations, and position ourselves to increase our average order. And the way we do that is by qualifying effectively. And the reason why we want to qualify is we want to give ourselves a better chance to connect with people on the phone. And what that means is, every time we make a call, we want to give ourselves the opportunity to know when to give them a call. So we're calling people at the right times, when they are more likely to answer. We give ourselves the opportunity to know about them before we call them, which gives us the opportunity to connect with them over the phone, which makes the calls a lot more effective than having awkward conversations or uncomfortable conversations or being anxious to make calls because we don't have the ability to connect with them outside of why we're calling and outside of our script. So we want to be able to connect with people and have conversation outside of why we're calling. And again, very, very important, we want to identify who the best people on each rec sheet are. That way we can, take our recs that we have from each appointment and just make a top customer list from all the recommendations we have, which allows us to only focus on seeing our best people. So with the how or the execution behind it, number one, we got to ask for what you want. You got to ask for what you want. If you don't ask, you won't have the ability. People won't be able to help you. Okay, so we got to ask for what we want. Number two is when we're asking, we have to go about it with a curious spirit. We have to be curious about it versus being interrogative, right? So we want to be curious, and then also we need to know the information, the info you need, and I'm going to show you how you're going to go about doing that. Here are some qualifying questions that you can use or thought joggers you can use as you're going through your appointment. Great one to ask is, who do you know that's available during the day for an appointment? Who do you know that has a flexible schedule? Who do you know that's really nice that probably wouldn't get anything but can introduce me to a lot of people? Hey, by any chance, do you have any friends that host parties? Hey, if I were to give your friend a call, who would you know that's really nice that probably wouldn't say no to me for an appointment? Hey, who do you know that's really nice that has a big family? Another great one is, who do they know that have kids in elementary and middle school? They're probably eating more now at that age of their life. Who do you know that likes nice things? Who do you know that lives in a gated community? Or you can start asking for specific gated communities. Who do you know that loves helping young people? Who do you know that's really nice and loves to help young people? Do you have any of your friends that still live in the area that you went to high school with? Those are a couple good ones that you can utilize as well. Another great one is who do you know that's really connected in the community? That's a phenomenal question to ask as well. And then last but not least, it's great to ask for people that are working in certain industries from business. Who do you know that wouldn't get anything but is a manager or owner or GM or executive of a business? Do you have any friends that are managers of a business? Oh, great. Ask about that. Do you have any friends that are in engineering, whether they're mechanical, civil, chemical, or electrical? Right? Who do you know that's in the real estate industry? Any agents, brokers, lenders, investors, right? In the public sector, those are great people that we can see for appointments and also are going to be the types of people that are going to lead us in the direction we want to go. Now, the 7 steps to effective qualifying. So once you have gotten down a bunch of names and you thought jogged and asked for as many people as possible, now we want to be effective. Now that we got the names down, now we got to be able to do something with the names. And here's a quick video that gives you the keys on how to qualify. 7 steps to effective qualifying. So number one thing we want to make sure we're doing is we're finding out the spouse's name. And the way we do that is like, hey, Mrs. Jones, just so I can address Mary's husband, properly if he does answer or when I see him. What's, Mary's husband's name? Is it Jim? Bob? Oh, okay. John? All right, cool. And how about Diane? And Susan? And Larry, or her wife's name? Cool. By any chance, do you actually have her number? Typically, from my experience, the women know the schedules a lot better than the husbands do. So do you have her number by any chance? So if you're having a hard time, if you're getting recommended to a lot of men, what you want to make sure you're doing is you're asking for the wife's name and then seeing if they have their number, or if if you're getting recs from the husband, does the wife have the spouse's number? So that's number one. You want to make sure you get the spouse's names and just assume the first name and guess the first name and see if you can get it right, and they'll tell you, and then you just put your pen at the next name and then the next name and then the next name. You don't have to say and Diane and Bob. You can just go, all right, perfect. You probably have to say it 2 or 3 times, and then after the second and third time they'll get the hint. If they gave you 10, they'll just go through and tell you the rest. Cool. Second thing you want to make sure you're doing is you want to find out how they know them, right? So typically people recommend family members, coworkers, or friends. Family members, coworkers, or friends. Cool. So the way you do that, you just say, hey, Mrs. Jones, is everyone here a family member, coworker, or friend? Cool. Which one's your family? Great. And coworkers, did you jot down any of your coworkers? Cool. Which ones are they? And as far as your friends go, everyone here is a friend. Are these people that you've known for a long time, people you've met recently? Oh, these friends I've known for a long time. These people I've known for a few years. This is a lifelong friend, whatever the case may be, right? And maybe you can get even more in depth and ask a third question is, cool, the people you've known for a long time, where'd you meet them by any chance? What's one cool story about them? Right. So that way you can, get a little bit of, you want to position yourself to be in the inside of the circle of the friends. The way you do that is by seeking out this information, and they want you to have success with their friends. They want you to see them. If not, they wouldn't jot them down. So you want to make sure that you're, getting that information, because that's super key. Okay. Number 3 is you want to know how long they've known them for, right? That kind of goes with number 2. So after you find out how they know them, you want to find out how long they've known them for. And simply the way you ask is, are these people you've known for a long time or a few years, right? And then they'll tell you. Cool. Step number 4 is you want to find out the area they live in, right? So you don't want to be driving around town. You want to be as efficient as possible, especially if we're going to be doing 5 or 6 appointments a day. You don't want to go from one side of town to the other side of town, back to the other side of town. You want to be as efficient and as effective as possible. And the way you can do that is know where they live. And the way you ask is just assume they all live in the same area she does. By the way, does everyone here live around the same area you do? Is everyone here in Houston? Is everyone here in Corpus? Is everyone, right? And you just want to make sure everyone's in the same area. Oh, great. Who's not? Cool. And identify who those people are, and then, position yourself to build that up and, see the right people on the right days. So you want to find out the best area, or where they, with the areas that they live, and who doesn't live in that same area, so we can identify those for potential virtuals, or that way you're not like, oh, I booked an appointment an hour away and I didn't know they lived an hour away, right? So make sure you guys know that. Step number 5 is you want to find out if you were me, okay? And these are if you were me questions, all right? So after we found out the name, spouse's name, we know how they know them, we know how long they've known them for, we know what area they live in. Now we want to ask if you were me questions. So if you were me question number 1, step number 5, if you were me. If you were me, when would be the best time? I typically make calls in the mornings, afternoons, or evenings. So if you were me, when would be the best time to reach everybody in the morning? Before 9, after 9? Cool. These people before 9, these people after 9, these people don't call in the morning. Okay, cool. Good to know. If I were to catch them around lunchtime, because sometimes I have, a gap in my schedule between my morning appointments and my afternoon appointments, when would be the best time to reach them in the midday around lunchtime? Is anybody great to reach during midday, or, they kind of tied down during their lunch break? All right, cool. These people, perfect. All right. And are these people I can call around 12, a little bit before 12, after 12? What's the latest I can call them in the afternoon? Okay, cool. Awesome. And then next thing you want to find out is if you or me, when would you potentially schedule them for an appointment? Because, typically I like to do appointments in the morning, some midday, some in the late evenings, and obviously I do a lot of appointments on the weekend. So are some of these people best to see during the week? All right, cool. Who's best to see during the week? Is there anyone I got to see in the evening? Okay, cool. Is anyone here available during the day? Is anyone here available in the afternoon? Cool. They say no. Get some people that are available during the morning and the afternoon. If they're like, oh no, everyone's basically best to see in the evenings and on the weekends. Okay, cool, Mr. Jones. I appreciate you jotting those down. Now, who do you know that's really nice that probably wouldn't get anything, but can introduce me to some, that might be available during the day, or has a flexible schedule, or works from home, or has, little kids at home, so they're, home during the day, right? Cool. Do you mind jotting a few of those down? I'd really appreciate it, right? So you want to identify when the best time to see them is. So when you're making phone calls, we know in the morning when the best time to call them is, in the afternoons when the best time to call them in the evening when the best time to call them, and then we know when to potentially ask them to see them for an appointment. Another way you can ask that question is if you or me and you're going to go hang out with your friend, when would you try to see her? Right? I think that's a very, easy one that'll get them to tell you the information that you want. Cool. Is everybody with me there on that? So that's step number 5. Step number 6 are does everyone. These are does everyone questions. We want to assume that they jotted down the types of people we wanted. Ideally, we've asked for the types of people that we wanted, right? So we're just verifying the information that they, of the people that they gave us. So does everyone questions, all right? First one is, hey, Mr. Jones, does everyone here have kids? Yeah, everyone has kids. Perfect. Anyone have more than 2? Okay, cool. You identify the people that have more than 2. All right, perfect. And everyone here, obviously, they know a lot of people. They can introduce me to 20, 30 people. They like me. All right, perfect. No, I don't. I mean, only 1 or 2 of them. Okay, cool. You identified those top 2, right? But we want to see if everyone they jotted down is capable. And if they didn't jot down a lot of people that know a lot of people, then that's our opportunity to say, hey, Mr. Jones, who do you know that might know a lot of people? The reason why I ask is because I'm working really hard. I'm trying to do 20 appointments a week. And the way I'm going to do that is by being able to make as many calls as possible. And the way I can make as many calls as possible is being recommended to as many people as possible. Not everyone's going to say yes, but every person you jot down is another opportunity for me to get one step closer to my goal. So who do you know that wouldn't get anything, but can introduce me to a lot of people or knows a lot of people? Great. But you want to identify who the people are, right? The best people are that can introduce you to a lot of people. So when you see those people, you do a really good job connecting with them. That way they open up the Rolodex or the contact list for you to help you see success. All right. And the next does everyone question is, does everyone appreciate quality? Does everyone appreciate quality? Everyone here on this list, everyone appreciates quality. Like if they appreciate, if they saw the quality of Cutco, they would appreciate it and might get something. Okay, cool. Identify who those people are. The people that really like quality stuff, like to have the best of everything, or, has the nicest things. Everyone has a friend like that, or everyone has friends like that if they are like that. Cool. So we want to identify who are the people that appreciate quality. Also, another does everyone question. By the way, everyone here is really nice, right? So if I gave them a call, they wouldn't give me a hard time. They'd be pretty nice to me. Right? So we identify if they might say yes, and they might be like, there's 1 or 2 on there that you got to bring your A game, because sometimes, if you catch them on the bad day, you know what I mean? And I'll be like, okay, totally cool. So that leads to step number 7. Is we want to be able to connect with our people over the phone, right? So we want to ask, we want to break the ice over the phone. So we want to be like, hey, Mrs. Jones, if I were to, chat with them on the phone, obviously I want to connect with them and have a conversation outside of why I'm calling. So what's one cool thing? One of the things I love to do is have great conversations with people throughout the day when I am on the phone. So what's one cool thing about some of the people you jotted down? If you haven't got that information already from all the questions you asked, right? I'm sure they'll go off on, how they know them or how long they've known them for and things like that, which gives you information that you can utilize. But step number 7 is you want to make sure you get something that you can utilize to connect with them over the phone. Does that make sense? Cool. So those are the 7 keys to after we've positioned ourselves to see better and more qualified people. We gave ourselves the opportunity to connect with, give ourselves the information needed to connect with them on the phone. We want to have more certainty when we're going to appointments, and the way we're going to do that is by identifying the information that we need, so when we leave that appointment, we feel comfortable and confident to just go execute. So hopefully this helps, and I'm excited to see what results you get from it.